talented Belgian all-rounder Marc Douay, the glamorous Michel Mouton, Grand Prix drivers Martin Brundle, Keke Rosberg and John Watson, rallymen Per Eklund and Jimmy McRae, and last year's winner, the irrepressible Nigel Mansell. It's a fun event, but everyone means to win, and there's gamesmanship right from the start. Scotsman Jimmy McRae challenges the rally stage.
Being a rally driver, it should be about 20 miles long.
We can't afford that many marshals, do we?
200 miles long.
Yeah. First away in the truly formidable 300 horsepower V8 Rover, the determined Nigel Mansell, and we're right there with him.
There we go. There we go for a very tricky part now. A very quick part coming up now. Here we go. Come on, baby. And we finished. Well, I think we made about one cock up and everything else is okay.
Okay, indeed. 1 minute, 29.7 seconds for Nigel. And now, French woman Michel Mouton. Certainly not just a pretty face, for Michel's in the four-wheel drive Audi Quattro Works team and was second in the 1982 World Championship. But she's never driven a right-hand drive car like the Rover before. The charming Michel's driven for Renault, for Auto Bianchi, for Fiat, for Lancia. She won the world's top rallies, including the super demanding San Remo and Acropolis events, and she's certainly hammering the big Rover in spite of her lack of familiarity with it. .300 horsepower with the stones hammering the undertray. Down through the gears, full lock slide. Magnificently spectacular. Up to the finish line, over 1 minute 33.8, 4 seconds slower than Mansell, but she obviously had problems.
Yes, problem. I missed the gear on the finish line, and I think this cost me a lot. And okay, I have to say I didn't feel the car very well, but this maybe because I am not awake this morning. But okay, you know, it was just fun.
What were you doing last night that affected your performance this morning?
Shall I have to tell you?
Next, from Kings Lynn, Tyrrell Grand Prix teamster Martin Brundle. Second at Detroit in his first year, but still recovering from a broken leg from the Dallas Grand Prix. But the big saloon Rover's going to be no problem to Martin. He made his name in saloon car racing, and he still races them. In the Jaguar Works team last year and 1984. First at Austria in the European Touring Challenge event in 1983. And Martin's won in a turbo. That was a turbo Renault in the Truck Grand Prix here at Donington. He's still limping, but he's okay for Grand Prix in 1985. And that leg obviously isn't bothering him now.
Second. Here comes Martin.
run. 1 minute 28.8, faster than Mansell, and Brundle leads.
But Martin has just done a 28.8. What do you say to that?
I think he went round 2 corners in a higher gear than me. He drove very well indeed, but I lost my gears on the first corner, so I'm satisfied with that.
Good. Keke, you've seen what's happening.
All look pretty slow to me.
John, you've yet to run as well. I mean, how do you reckon 1:28.8 Brundle's time?
That's all right. Not bad for a young boy.
Until Jimmy gets in the car.
Well, it's not Jimmy McRae yet. It's Belgian Mark Douay, who's competed in over 50 types of car and who's done well in all of them. In fact, he's today's dark horse. Off goes Douay. Now, his target's Brundle's 1 minute 28.8. Douay's beautifully smooth, deceptively fast. He's using all that experience that he's got from rallies and racing, because he's raced a BMW in European Touring Championship events. But it's worth remembering that a rally driver usually wins the Rallysprint. In fact, it's usually Tony Pond, but he's not here today. And Douay's the Belgian rally champ. First time at Donington, first time in the Rallysprint. And he's going superbly. Magnificent control. This is going to be a very quick time. One minute 27.8, that's the fastest yet. Douay leads, and that's really put the cat amongst the pigeons. So, can 3 times British champion Jimmy McRae improve on that? Let's join him and see.
I think that's us ready to go then.
So, go. And Jimmy's target's 1 minute 27.8, and that's Mark Douay's time, with Brundle second and Mansell third so far. And the stone's beating a tattoo underneath the Rover. Jimmy's used to an Opel Manta. It's got less horsepower, but it's smaller and it's nimbler. 3 times winner of the Circuit of Ireland Rally, first in this year's Manx Rally. An ace driver, let's enjoy it. McRae's done it, 1 minute 27.5. So now Jimmy McRae leads, Mark Douay's second, Martin Brundle's third, and Nigel Mansell's fourth, and the rally drivers are in the lead.
I hope so.
Well, it was a fast one. So can 1982 Grand Prix world champion Keke Rosberg do better? Somehow I doubt it, for although Keke's superhuman in his Williams Honda, this is very different. 300 Rover horsepower compared with 800 Honda horsepower in the Williams. A front engine, not a rear engine. A slippery forest stage instead of dry, grippy tarmac. A big saloon and not a single-seater projectile. But if you can drive one, you can drive them all. And Keke's driving. But not quick enough. 1 minute 30.9 puts Keke fifth with only Michel Mouton behind him. Number 7, 38-year-old Swedish rallyman Per Eklund with 22 years of rally success behind him, including the British Class Championship and victory at the BBC TV Rallysprint. Now, rallymen are first and second, McRae and Douay. Eklund's got 1 minute 27.5 to beat Jimmy McRae's time. He's driven for Saab, VW, Fiat, Porsche, Volvo, Triumph, Toyota and Audi, so the Rover's going to be no problem. And there's a 10,000 crowd to see this unique Austin Rover event. Minute 27.7, and that puts Eklund second to McRae. And that's Watty's distinctive helmet. John Watson last away on the rally stage. 151 Grand Prix, 5 wins, and this year a superb World Championship sports car win at Fuji in Japan, driving a 900 horsepower works Porsche. So a 300 horsepower Rover must seem positively underpowered to John. But it certainly doesn't look like it. John may have finished with Grand Prix racing, but his long and distinguished career is still developing. This year, Jaguar at Le Mans and a Porsche works team drive. An obvious contender for Porsche in 1985. Watson ties for 6th with Keke Rosberg.
The next one up is, of course, the Autotest. How do you fancy your chances on the Autotest, Martin?
Well, if Nigel Mansell doesn't pull the handbrake out of the floor, then I think we've all got a good chance. But no, I'm quite looking forward to that. I haven't done much of that. It looked quite... We were watching that guy yesterday, weren't we? And it really does look like it's going to be quite exciting.
Jimmy, how do you feel about the Autotest?
Looking forward to it. I was, well, reasonably quick last year, and I think I've learnt a bit since then, so we'll have a good go.
The Autotest in new 5-door Austin Metros calls for skill and brutality. Lying 5th so far, Nigel Mansell, sensational last year and first to go. Forwards to a classy reverse spin. Back through the gap. Spin again. Forwards into a very small square to a 360-degree tyre-scrabbling turn without touching the walls. Forwards out of the square, right-handed into the pit lane. Hard right and stop astride the line. Reverse into a dummy garage. Out of it and stop astride the finish line. Nice one, Nigel. No mistakes and no penalties for a yardstick time of 43.1 seconds. And now it's everybody's darling Michèle Mouton. She's never driven a Metro in competition, it's got right-hand drive, and she's never driven in an Autotest. So far, so good. But it's all coming apart in the full turn square.
I don't know what to do.
Try the pedal on the right, Michèle. No, not that one. You may laugh, Keke, but your turn's coming. Meanwhile, back in the car, our brave heroine battles on in the face of adversity. Oh, Michèle. Never mind, it's easier without the wall.
More terrible than that is impossible, you know.
Michelle, not the best. What happened?
Oh, that's terrible than that. I don't know. I never do that, you know.
You know what we say in England about lady drivers?
Yeah, I am typical now. Very good.
Thank you. Good effort.
Now it's Hot Shoe Brundle with 8 points from his 4th place in the rally stage. Martin hasn't mastered the technique of a full throttle, non-stop, 360-degree sliding turn, but then who has? Out of the square, into the pit lane, over the line, back up, into the garage. That's neat. Straight in, stop, slam it into first. 46.1 seconds, slower than Nigel, faster than Michel, 2nd place so far. Now, Mark Douay's frankly an unknown quantity, but we know he's good, and we know he's got 9 points and 3rd place so far. And now we know he's terrific at Autotests, for this smooth, flowing, non-stop run is exactly the way to do it without wasting even a split second. He lost a little time going into the garage. But it's a sensational time, 38.1 seconds, Douay leads. Jimmy McRae, rally stage winner, 12 points and a tough task ahead, beat Douay's 38.1 seconds. Oh, Jimmy's lost time there at that first reverse gap. Through it. Into the square. And that's a superb turn in the square. Back into reverse. On come the reversing lights. Beautifully neatly into the garage, but that first gap reverse is going to cost him dear. 44.6 seconds, good, but only for 3rd place so far. So, now let's see how the mustachioed, flying thin Keke Rosberg does it and whether he can improve on his 6th place in the rally stage. We're in the car with Keke. This looks good. Right the way round. Lots of welly. Out of the square. He's losing time into the garage. Go on, Keke. Too wide. Slots it in nicely, though. Getting that first gear is tricky. 46.1, slower than it looked, in fact slower than everyone except Michel, and that's a surprise. 7th to go, the experienced pair Eklund, master of everything at the wheel. 2nd in the rally stage with 10 points. Perfect into the reverse gap. A lovely forward spin. An absolutely dynamic square turn to well-deserved master applause. Just a whisker lost on the reverse into the gap, but a great run. Great indeed, 38.9, 2nd to Douay. And last away, John Watson with a lot to do to improve on his 6th rally stage place. And he improving. This looks the best yet. And don't the crowd love the ever-popular Watty? Oh, superb. Great into the garage. Just a whisker of a stall there and out of it. The best yet, 37.7 to win the Autotest, 4/10 faster than Douay. And at the start of the third discipline, the Donington Racing 2-litre MG Montegos, it's close at the top. Because in the lead, with 19 points from the rally stage and Autotest, it's rallyman Mark Douay. But Douay shares the lead with Jimmy McRae and with Per Eklund, who are both on 19 points too, with John Watson, the top racer, in 4th place. Martin Brundle's 6th on aggregate, and we're going to race with him in his MG Montego. In pole position, Eklund, then Mansell and Douay completing the front row. It's go. Down to Redgate, the first right-hander. Eklund leads, Mansell 2nd, Douay 3rd, Rosberg 4th, Watson in 5th position, and we're in 6th place with Martin Brundle. And there's John Watson ahead of us, down to Hollywood and the Craner curves. And we're going past John Watson up to 5th position, with Mansell, Douay, Eklund and Rosberg ahead. Under the bridge at Starkey's, up to Coppicewood. From Coppicewood to McLean's. And it's Mansell leading, Douay 2nd, Eklund in 3rd place, Rosberg 4th. There we go, with Martin Brundle 5th and Watson 6th, and whoops, McRae onto the grass. Out of Coppice, Mansell, Douay, Eklund, Rosberg, Brundle, Watson. Down now to the chicane on lap 1. And it's Mansell and Douay together. Eklund in the maroon car in 3rd place, Rosberg behind in 4th. Over the line, and Eklund on the right is trying for 2nd on the grass. But he doesn't succeed. Douay staved him off into Redgate. It's the Belgian in 2nd place. And Martin Brundle through to 4th position, ahead of Rosberg and Watson. Here we are, back with Martin. Mansell's leading ahead of us, Douay 2nd, Eklund's 3rd. And we're catching Per Eklund. We're with Eklund into Hollywood. We're past him, past Eklund into 3rd place. We're going to hit the curb. We've hit it, hear the thump. And there goes Watson past us up to 3rd, and Rosberg and McRae are right behind us. Whoop, there go Rosberg and McRae past us. We're down to 6th, Martin. And look, Rosberg and McRae hit each other, but Martin's fighting back. Rosberg to the left, McRae to the right. We're on our way, we're going past, we're up to 4th. Down to Coppice, it's Watson, Brundle, McRae, Eklund, Rosberg and Mouton in 8th position. And at the chicane, Mansell leads on his own, Douay 2nd. So Douay's leading the whole rally sprint by 2 points. Watson 3rd, Brundle and McRae 4th and 5th out of the chicane. Down to Redgate, Mansell can't do better than win, but it's not enough if Douay stays 2nd. And there's a big battle for 4th now with Michel Mouton in 6th place. Down to the Craner curves, Brundle and McRae 4th and 5th. Ahead of them, Mansell, Douay and Watson. Approaching Starkey's Bridge. How are we doing, Martin?
Now the rally drivers are catching us up again. Dear oh dear. They want to stick to the black stuff.
Up to McLean's, Mansell leading. There he goes. Douay in 2nd position. John Watson a bit behind in 3rd place. Who's next? Brundle, McRae right with him in 5th position. Then Mouton, Rosberg, Eklund. And at the chicane, Mansell goes through, Douay goes through, Watson goes through. The top 3 in the race and on aggregate. Still anybody's 4th position. Look at it. Craner curves again, and Mansell's on his way to 12 points. Mark Douay 2nd on his way to 10. Watson there in 3rd position. And now Brundle and McRae 4th and 5th have broken away from Mouton, Rosberg and Eklund 8th and last from pole position. McLean's. Nigel Mansell driving beautifully. Holding the lead from Douay, who's holding second place from Watson. Douay first on aggregate, but there's nothing in it between the race and rally teams, and McRae is going for fourth, down to the chicane. Mansell leads at the end of the lap. Clear space between him and Douay. Watson third, and then the battle for fourth between Brundle and McRae.
Get in there. The grass seems as grippy as the tarmac.
Tom Wheatcroft won't like that, Martin. It's his grass. Craner curves and 8 seconds covers the top 5. Mansell, Douay, Watson, Brundle and McRae. Then Mouton, Rosberg and Eklund. From Craner curves up to the old hairpin with Keke Rosberg in 6th place. Keke really trying. Brundle 4th, McRae 5th. Then the battle between Rosberg, Mouton and Eklund's trying for 7th. But Douay is still okay for an overall win, although Watson's catching him. The chicane again. Nigel Mansell leads, but we've got a problem in our car.
Jimmy McRae said earlier he was going to try and have me off. He's got his chance.
But he's blown it this time. Brundle and McRae absolutely together as they exit Redgate. And then at Coppice, Nigel Mansell leads and Watson has caught Douay. They're absolutely together. Down to the chicane, Mansell, Douay and Watson a great scrap for second. They're using that Montego 115 horsepower to the full. Brundle and McRae.
That was a little nudge from Jimmy McRae, by the way. I don't know whether you felt it, but I did.
Well, it's still all go at the front. No relaxing for Mansell, Douay and Watson. And McRae is trying for 4th again, and Rosberg's closing up in 6th place. What a wonderful race this is. On to McLean's. Nigel Mansell still in a very secure lead. Douay still second, but John Watson's catching him slowly but remorselessly. And at Coppice, John Watson's right up with Douay. The chicane, 2 seconds, covers the first 3.
I would think we're going to be removed from this race shortly by one Jimmy McRae. You'll not get round that side, Jimmy. I'll make sure of that. Or will I? Told you.
That's almost rallycross, and now Watson's really pushing Douay for 2nd place. It's a terrific drive by the Belgian on his way to an overall win. Up to McLean's, and Watson's through. He's passed the Belgian into 2nd place, but even so, Douay's on 28 points, which will give him victory. Coppice. Mansell leads, Watson 2nd, Douay 3rd. But it's a matter of pride to Mark Douay that he wants that 2nd place back. And he's going to get into the chicane. He's on the inside line. He's going to push Watson out. And he's right across the bows of the Montego and back into 2nd place on the last lap. Douay and Watson together into Redgate. Down to Starkey's, Mark Douay, 3rd in the rally stage, 1st in the Autotest. He's going to be 2nd in the race, 29 points, and that means an overall win. Brundle 4th, McRae 5th, and Rosberg's right with him in 6th position. And at Coppice for the last time, Nigel Mansell leads. Douay 2nd, Watson 3rd. Where's Martin Brundle in our car? There he is. Where's Jimmy McRae? There he is. Keke Rosberg right behind him. The chicane for the last time. Nigel Mansell wins for the Grand Prix team. Douay 2nd for the rallymen. Watson 3rd for the Grand Prix drivers. And Brundle is next.
Looks like we're going to finish 4th.
And with Martin Brundle, we do finish 4th. A victory wave from Nigel Mansell, and with 2nd, 3rd, 6th and 7th overall, the Grand Prix drivers win the team event by 1 point. But a magnificent overall individual victory in a tremendously successful Austin Rover Rallysprint, without a doubt the best ever, goes to the Belgian first-timer Mark Douay. It's been a day of fun and success he'll remember for a long time.
Best motorway champion all over.